Built off the Alpha 2 platform from the 6th generation Chevy Camaro, Cadillac Lakeland has given us the 2022 Cadillac CT5 premium luxury in your 2.0 turbo in the Shadow Metallic. New for this year, updated Super Cruise Control with your standard wireless connectivity and charging, standard 10-inch Q for all of the trims, luxury interior, performance against the BMW 330i, your Audi A5, your Genesis G70. Which one's going to bring you the best blend of all worlds? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new Cadillac CT5 stresses the performance cues, and they implement it with that gloss black honeycomb grille. It's going to have the chrome surrounding it, and then it goes into these sleek LED headlamps. It's a signature vertical light that goes right down into the lower vents, and I like how everything's gloss black in a simple yet aggressive styling. With nearly 4.5 inches of ground clearance, the splitter that's in the front with the gloss black so it separates itself from the bumper trim, and I do like that we have the front parking sensors that's pretty much the same color as the vehicle, so there's no eyesores. A performance hood, available Diamond Sky Special Edition, which will bring the Diamond Sky metallic exterior color with bright accents on the grille, the rockers, and the rear diffuser. Otherwise, it's going to be more of a simple look. That's the layout that we have here with 18-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading behind it, 13.6 inches. The rear at 12.4 inches. They're both ventilated. A weight distribution at 5644 McPherson strut front suspension, a 5-link rear suspension. If you need more performance, available magnetic ride control, which reads the road 1,000 times per second. Optional Brembo front brakes with 4 pistons. That comes out of the V Performance line. Standard blind spot monitoring, lane change, lane keeping, and follow distance with your IntelliBeam, featuring the gloss black between the windows, the chrome trim on the exterior of it, so it gives a sleek approach to the exit that just stresses luxury. Going into dual exhaust, so it sets a nice tone to this 2.0 turbocharged engine, because you want something that looks a little bit more performance driven. They did a great job. Just the gloss black would have set really nice against this exterior color. Going inside to your cargo at 11.9 cubic feet, which is more than the Genesis G70. You got storage on the side, storage underneath the floor. The rear bench split folds at a 60/40 fold. That's going to max that cargo, but turbocharged Cadillac CT5. Let's see how that exhaust note sounds. The Cadillac CT5 sits at an aggressive styling with luxury and performance to back it, and the savings is anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 depending on trim and features, and they back the performance with a 2.0 liter twin scroll turbocharged inline 4-cylinder producing 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission achieving 23 to 33 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 around 6.6 seconds. Quarter mile around 15 seconds. A top speed at 130 miles per hour, stopping 70 to 0 at around 130 feet. Now, this is not going to be the fastest as the competition. However, you can get the V series that will give you a V6 3.0 twin turbo with over 330 horsepower, a 0 to 60 under 5 seconds. So if this is not your bread and butter, get up to the next level. You're still gonna get savings, you're still gonna get luxury. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Cadillac CT5 as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Cadillac CT5, you're gonna receive 39 inches of headroom, 42.4 inches of legroom. It's a jet black on jet black leather wrapped bucket front seats. 12-way power adjustment for the driver and passenger. The driver gets memory and ventilated and heated seats. We don't have it. It's the delete because of this chip problem. The dashboard for Cadillac is always going to have a nice modern twist, and they implement it with a 10-inch infotainment with navigation. So you have the pinch and you got the swipe. This has your wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, wireless charging. You have your Wi-Fi hotspot, Amazon Alexa, Sirius XM, dual climate control that you could click onto here, or you could push the button. You have your My Cadillac, your OnStar services, switch it to reverse. You do have full trajectory. It is a large screen, so it does make it easy as well for the Q system. I think they did a great job for the Cadillac user experience. As for the way you sit in it, I like this one a little bit better than the CT4. The CT4 feels a little bit more sporty. This one feels a little bit more luxury. So you're going to get the gloss black, and it has some nice sparkles above these air vents in the center. You're going to get the aluminum that's going to be on the side for the passenger. We do have the upgraded Bose premium sound system, which is a 14 speaker setup. In the center here, you'll have your driver mode select. You can click onto there and you can change and make it more athletic for you in the touring mode. You could go to your sport mode, your snow and ice, your My mode, so that way you can actually select it the way that you want. Everything is very user-friendly and where it needs to be. Cup holders, a 16.9 ounce fits with no problem. I would say a 20 ounce. You have a little area here that you could put a smartphone as well. When you open up inside here, you could run your wires through here with your 12 volt, your 2 USB ports, and you got some storage. You can also take that out. So they make it as if it's wireless. It's going to be firm on both elbows or armrest sides. A leather wrapped steering wheel. It's a 3-spoke multi-function with the paddle shifters. The gauge cluster can go through an array of information for the driver. You can see your turn-by-turn navigation, your Bluetooth connectivity. You can see your audio sound system or any gauges for the vehicle to make it easy to operate and understand what's going on. The contrast stitching is pretty much throughout the cabin, which also gives more of that luxury flair. Door panels is going to start with the Bose premium sound system. Harder materials on the top. You're going to get the aluminum inlays, one touch up and down for all the windows around the gloss black with the contrast stitching, memory for the driver. It's soft all in this section here. Storage in the door pocket. You can fit maybe 3 or 4 16.9 ounce water bottles. So the efficiency and the room that you have is definitely something that can fit a family. Let's go in the back seat so we can see how it looks. For the back seats, I'm at 36.6 inches of headroom, 37.9 inches of legroom, 6'3". I can fit without really any issues. You do sit a little bit more inward, so you go against the cup holders where I'm putting a 16.9 ounce water bottle. I'd say a 20 ounce max. I would actually just put it down there because the way you sit, again, you're sitting more inwards. You have your air vents in the center, a 12 volt and a USB-C port, storage behind both of the front seats. When you're looking at this from the rival, the G70 is going to be a lower riding roof. Same thing with the Audi. The BMW will also be a little bit less with headspace. The reason why this one's less with headspace is because the seats are sitting upwards more so than the front seats. However, you still have substantial room. Door panel, you're going to get harder materials. You get the Bose premium sound system, the aluminum inlays, one touch up and down for all the windows. All soft materials are in the center where your arms would be. Storage for the door panel, I would say about 2 or 3 16.9 ounce water bottles. So it's pretty much hand in hand to the competition. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is still not necessarily an issue. I'm kind of grazing. As for leg space, I'm almost grazing the back of the front seats in the position I'd be sitting. I am sharing leg space, butt space, shoulder space because the floor isn't completely flat. However, to sit in the G70, my head would be completely against it. To sit in the Audi A6 or A5, the same thing. The BMW 330i, yet again the same thing. So this one actually has more space in the back seat. Even though you sit up and it pushes you in the center, you can still fit 3 adults 6'3". If they made the seats where you sit down like you do in the front, and maybe instead of bulging it like upwards like this, just had it more flat, you would probably be able to sit even more comfortably in the back seat. It's not necessarily uncomfortable when you're sitting on the sides. It's just when you sit into the center, you can definitely feel the pushing of the back and of the butt. Taking the 2022 Cadillac CT5 out for our test run, 2.0 liter, twin scroll, turbocharged inline 4-cylinder with 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission. The gas consumption is pretty much spot on with the CT4, so you do have capabilities for performance and luxury, and we're going to see what we have. We're going to give her a little go right here. Gets up to speed pretty good. The exhaust note is not as potent as the CT4. When you get into the CT4, it seems to be a little bit more loud and lively. Maybe just the way they've tweaked this one, but it still has the same push to it, even though this is a 10-speed and that's an 8-speed. As for the dynamics on it, it's going to stay pretty planted. I do like that, even though the weight distribution is not necessarily the best comparing it to the rivals. The 0 to 60, you can get the twin turbo engine for the V series, and then you would just be right on point with them. You're really looking at savings in this and getting a decent 0 to 60 and luxury with performance behind it. So you are getting all the blends. As for visibility in the front, you can see really well. The performance hood, I mean, it just turns on the stereo. It's been doing that a little bit through the review, but it's good that you see that. As for the visibility in the front, the performance hood, it actually does make it a little bit easier to adjust, so that way you know where your front bumper is, and it gives a little bit of a sport heritage to the vehicle. As for everyday driving, you get the noise cancellation, which filters through your headrest, and it makes it really pleasant in the drive. You do hear the wheel well area, a little bit of noise, but for the most part, super quiet. The dual pane windows help a little bit more, and I mean, it really does stress a lot of elegance. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like is the fact that every single model comes standard with this 10-inch Q system. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is that I can fit in the back seats. When it comes to the Audi, it's going to be tight, especially for the head, and the same thing for the BMW 330i, same thing for the Genesis G70, even if you're going to the Kia Stinger, because they have more of a hatchback design. It helps with cargo, but it doesn't really help so much for the back seats. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is how quiet yet athletic it is. Because going into the rivals, the G70, it gets a little bit noisy. When you go into the BMW, the same thing. It's not as composed and quiet. And if you're going into the Audi, it's pretty quiet for the most part, but you're gonna have to spend more than a few $1,000s to make it as quiet as this vehicle. So for the price point, best bang for your buck. 3 things that I dislike has to start off with the performance numbers. Even though you got a savings, you do lack in the performance, especially with horsepower and torque. Stop in the middle of the road right here and give her a go. I mean, it does have a pretty nice sound to it. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the cargo space. When I compare it to the rivals, it's pretty much last. And yes, most of it is because they're hatchbacks, but the BMW still has a little bit more. The last thing that I dislike, you still don't receive a full digital gauge reader. We're in 2022, whereas you start getting these amenities once you start going up the tier. Yes, you're going to be spending a substantial amount of money, so again, the savings that you get has to be applied. But it would be nice to see full digital gauge readers, but everyday driving vehicle, I can definitely see it. Service is going to be the least of expense comparing it to the rivals, and you're going to get even more service because when you look at these type of vehicles online, they have a virtual tour and they literally will go through the vehicle and show you areas in which you can look at, which is something no other vehicle does. So I think Cadillac is really putting itself a little bit above luxury in that category. As for brakes, pretty decent with that as well. These are not Brembo specs, but you can get the V performance, Brembo brakes, 4 pistons in the front, and if you want to go all out, the Blackwing will give you 6 in the front. So I mean, you can really make this as retrofit to get it as sport derived as you need to get even in the 3 seconds or even crazier speeds with a handcrafted supercharged engine. As for the safety features, I really do think Cadillac stresses a lot more than any of the other brands. You can't even put it into gear unless you plug in your seatbelt. It has the teen monitoring, so they can't do their radio without their seatbelt being buckled, and it gives you a monitor to see their performance and what they're doing when they drive the vehicle, so you can actually see what your kids or anyone that's under 18 is doing to the vehicle when they are programmed to the key fob. So safety above and beyond, and they give you all the safety features in which other brands, they actually charge you for some of these features. You get front pedestrian detection, you get rear cross traffic. These are standard features in the Cadillac. Now, if you're wanting to save even more money, the CT4, if you don't need the back seat to be as much room, it's going to be cut a little bit more in leg space than in head space. Cargo is about the same. You're going to get the same drive. I feel it's a little bit more edgy because of that 8-speed automatic transmission. But when you get into this one, you get the luxury, you get the back seat, you get cargo, and you get storage in all the door panels. Turn radius and more or less a stop point is going to be getting about 2 in a part lane. Give it some gas. It's ready to rock and roll. It's fast enough. It handles well. It can go through impurities, whether slow or fast, soaking it up. You're not gonna feel it like this. If you go into the rivals, you're going to feel it. The steering wheel, it does have a good grip to it. It's not gonna be overly wide either, so it doesn't feel like it's proportioned outwise. The side view mirrors are a little bit more sleek, so it keeps that essence of the sport heritage. I'd like to thank Cadillac Lakeland for giving us this 2022 Cadillac CT5 for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, click the next video, check out the details, merchandise, website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides. Here we go, rock and roll, guys. Till the next video.